Alright, Matt, I'm taking a look at your assignment now, and I trust hope you'll appreciate this video evaluation because it allows you to kind of look over my shoulder as I'm grading it. And it's easy for me to do this than to try to make a whole bunch of notes on these long papers. So, let's get right into it. Your heading and everything looks good. Page numbering is where it should be. Title looks fine. Alright, let's take a look at your introduction. Artificial intelligence. Nice. I like your analogy there, study part. Cool. Okay, I guess I need to ask this. Matt, since you're writing about AI, please tell me you did not use AI to actually write the paper, right? I'm going to assume you did not do that. Okay. AI's growth in education. Okay, remember you don't want to talk about it from your own perspectives. That was okay in using I, me, or my was okay in your proposal, but now that you're writing your actual professional report, you want to keep yourself out of it. So no first person pronouns, no second person pronouns. So you don't want to say I, me, my. You want to see you or your. Okay. So you want to definitely take that out. And just this is why it's okay to use passive voice instead of active. See, saying I plan to do something is active voice. But instead, you can simply say something like, in this research, the positives and negative effects of AI usage, specifically in undergraduate college education, will be the focus, or will be focused on, or something like that. Or however you want to do it, but do it in a way that takes yourself out of it, okay? Again, don't say I. The focus will primarily be on how it influences learning outcomes, student engagement, blah, blah, blah. Right? Okay, now this is correct and well done. Your thesis statement is good and solid. Okay. Literature review. Okay, so make sure you incorporate some sources. The literature review has to have some sources in there to help back up the things that you're saying. Now, it looks like you do get to that down here, so maybe that'll be fine. Maybe that'll be okay. Just remember, the sources are necessary to back up anything that you say that's sort of opinionated, right? For sure. Okay, according to, so good signal phrase, but remember, you don't have to say that every time. So hopefully you've mixed that up and not saying according to all the way through it. We'll see. And you qualified her at the same time as noting them. You provided a couple quotes within there, and then you have the page number. Very nicely done. You must have definitely used the materials to see how to properly integrate your sources, because that is just about perfect. Very nicely done. Study also reveals that many students saw it. Okay, so this is good. Same thing. You did now the comma should come out of here and go right after here. Okay, so the commas, whenever you have that signal phrase, or I mean the parenthetical, commas and periods would always come after that. Very well done. Very well done. Great job. That's one of the biggest things I look for, is to see that you're doing that well. So I'm just going to go ahead and skim and assume that you're doing that well. Just make sure all of them look that way. Bounce out the research. Okay, now you do not need the year here when you're using MLA. Okay, so just remember that the fact that you're starting with a heading here instead of a full title page above it tells me that it's supposed to be MLA. So you want to make sure that your citations are also all MLA, and that means no dates, no years, in parentheses. Okay. I would say instead of saying this paper, because it makes it sound like you're referring to yours, to this, say their paper, T-H-E-I-R, referring to them. Their paper examines the ethics. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. Again, put the comma after the parenthetic. Again, remove that. You don't want that, shouldn't be there. Unless you're wanting to do this in APA. Now, if you really were wanting to do this in APA, then you have to go back and change the heading, delete the heading at the top and change it to a title page, and do that stuff properly. You'll need to make sure you check the Easy Writer for how to do that properly. It shows you a sample that shows you exactly what everything should look like, title pages and stuff. Again, say make it clear that you're talking about their paper, so maybe say their paper. Okay, gap. You should talk about your gap in the research, so that's good. You don't have to bold the whole thing. You could just bold the word gap. That would be good enough. Okay, now this is your research methods. Looks like you've done a good job here at referring to them and talking about how you evaluated them. Maybe touch a little bit more on the actual criteria that you use to evaluate them, because this is a little too brief. So just include some information in here about your evaluation process. Right? What did you use in the way as a way to decide their credibility, recency, stuff like that. Again, remember to get rid of the years, dates. Okay, here you talk about the professors and the survey with your professors and students. You talk a little bit about that. That's good. Great job. So that all looks good. Now you should have, there it is. Remember to bold that. Remember to put your limitations or whatever word you use to talk about the weakness. Remember to put that in bold so I can easily note it, and find it. Otherwise, it looks very good. Results and discussion survey found, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now this figure should have a title of some sort, and at the top of it, and then below it should say Figure 1, data from student professor survey on AI learning, October 25th, and then add here, after this, add the word source, capital S, source, and then a colon, and then you could just put author or self or something like that to indicate that you did it. Okay. Now this excess spacing here, you want to try to close that up. You want to try to keep it at all double spacing if you can. Same thing for here. You want to have that figure title up here, and then the source here. Okay, looks pretty good. Conclusion. In the conclusion, you want to make sure you talk a little bit about, either in the conclusion or somewhere in here in the discussion, you want to remind your audience of the weaknesses in both the research and your primary research, the gap or the weaknesses, and talk about and just simply mention them again and then indicate how much of a problem they were. Were you able to do a good job, or do you feel confident about your outcomes in spite of the gaps of research? And another really great thing to do is to offer a way to fill that gap in the known research. Maybe suggest a way or or something that could be done to maybe find out that gap, fill it, find out the information that needs, and fill that gap. That's a really great way because it shows your own ingenuity. Okay, so you can do that in the conclusion as either place. Okay, good. Works cited should not be in bold, but otherwise it looks fine. Now these should be double spaced, but they are hanging indented, so that's great. And they are in proper order. There actually should be 5 sources minimum. So if you can, you might want to try to find a couple more sources to add in here. It's not going to be a terrible detriment to your grade, but it could affect it a little bit if you don't have 5 sources. Okay, because that's one of the requirements. But otherwise, everything looks pretty good here. You might break this up here, this DOI number, so that some of it will come back up here, if you can. But definitely make sure you double space this. All right, international. These things should be in italics. So like the article title is in quotation marks, and what comes after it should always be in italics, which in this case, of course, is the name of the journal. Or in this case, another journal title, right? So you want to make sure you put those things, whatever comes after the quotation marks, that thing that comes right after that should be in italics. Okay? Don't forget also periods should go inside quotation marks here. Periods or commas should always go inside quotation marks. Like you have it here. This one you did right. And this one you did right. So just make sure they all look the same. All right. So Matt, that will pretty much do it. If you have questions, need help with anything, let me know. What you need to do now is you need to go through and you need to take all of this that I've told you and you need to fix everything, revise and edit everything that I've mentioned. And then what you need to do is, as you're fixing things, you need to highlight it. So like if you add something in, subtract something, or change a word, whatever you do, highlight the word and then put a note over here stating what you did with it. If you remove something, you might just highlight a gap between the words and then say something and then put a note over here saying you removed a sentence about such and such, right? So, but everything should be highlighted. Every little thing you fix should be highlighted and annotated to show me what you fixed so that I can easily go back through this later and see that you fixed everything. So make sure you do that. If you don't do it, I'll have to return it to you and ask you to remind you to do it. So you might as well just do that from the start. And just remember to resubmit it to me. You can fix all this stuff, highlight it all, and then resubmit it again to me. If it won't let you resubmit it to the assignment, you can always just email it to me with a request to look it over again, and I can give you more feedback, and we can make sure it's awesome for the final portfolio. Okay? So that will do it for this video. As always, let me know if you have questions or need help.